What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. Welcome back to another very late night in the BrewLab with me, Lone Fox, your freshly shaven brewmaster in chief. And tonight in the BrewLab, I'm taking a little break from the control decks. To be perfectly honest, I've been having the most difficult time with control. I've never had such a hard time with control. Everybody, the other content creators that are my idols and that I follow and that I know and love, have all been putting out a lot of control decks of late. Malone, CGB, GigX, Swayze, Hat-Trick Swayze, they've all been putting out control decks lately, and I just don't know, I guess it feels a little bit dull. The win con seems to always be Professor Onyx or Creature Lands, and it's just not up my alley. So the whole control deck thing I was on sort of didn't pan out the way I had hoped, and so I'm taking a break from control decks and going back and revisiting some of the older brews that I had made in Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, Standard 2022, and seeing which new cards from Midnight Hunt can be added to those lists to give them a much needed boost, upgrade, and revamp. So tonight I'm looking at a brew which I did call back in the day Dragon Wieners, where I'm trying to get Grandmaster of Flowers to become Bahamut, and in the first version I was trying to put creatures in the way as well as having a little bit of removal of the Grandmaster of Flowers so that he could get there. That was real fun, and it was working pretty damn well. I think my Dragon Wieners deck was incredible when it first came out, but this is the new version, and we're trying to do things a little differently. There's nothing really to get in the way of creatures attacking Grandmaster Flowers other than the Monk of the Open Hand and Icingdeath. Those are the only two creatures in the entire deck, except for also the human tokens that Sunset Revelry creates, when the conditions are met for it, which requires your opponent to have more creatures on the field than you do. There's no creatures that are going to get in the way of the opponent attacking our Grandmaster of Flowers and bringing his loyalty down before we can get it up to 7, where it needs to be for him to transform into Bahamut. So in this deck, we're definitely playing a much more control sort of shell around the Grandmaster, where instead of having blockers in front of him, we are removing the opponent's things, we are tapping the opponent's things, we are stalling the opponent's things, we are exiling the opponent's things so that they can never attack the Grandmaster Flowers and get him down in loyalty. So they'll be left with having to rely on things such as removal, direct targeted removal that hits planeswalkers, or Soul Seer or something like that, and that makes it a little harder from my playtesting, and it's been working really well. I'm sitting on 75% win rate with the deck over 10 games, and I really hope to not have the streamer's curse again, and as soon as I start streaming the deck, then things just dive off a cliff. I'm really hoping to continue with that win rate for tonight and show you guys that this deck is actually really freaking amazing. I'm having so much fun with it. So what are the new cards that we've put in to help us get to Bahamut from Midnight Hunt? Well, mostly it's Curse of Silence, so one of the new curse cards, and I'm also working on a new curse deck which is looking really sweet. Mardu curses, mwah, but More on that in the next couple of days once I've got it waxed. Then, next new card, Fateful Absence, giving mono white a much needed instant speed removal option. Unfortunately, the opponent does get to draw a card by paying 2 and sacrificing the clue that they get. But don't forget that you can also use Fateful Absence on your own creatures to, let's say, save them from an exile effect. So instead of the creature getting exiled, you can, or a Planeswalker getting exiled, you can target it on the stack, your own creature, and then you get the clue, which then, you get some value out of the, your creature getting exiled or destroyed. Then, next new card, Sunset Revelry. We've already briefly touched on, but basically this card is a freaking house. It's when you're a little bit behind against aggro, it's really, really good because it's so versatile. It gives you so much. You can, if an opponent has more life than you, so I mean, if everything's met, so you need to have less life than the opponent, less creatures on the battlefield than the opponent, and less cards in hand than the opponent, which is obviously a horrible place to be in. Boom, you play Sunset Revelry, you gain 4 life, create 2 1/1 human creature tokens that are blockers, and you get to draw a card. So it's just like, if you can get all 3, it's so much value for 2 mana. I'm absolutely loving this card. So 4 copies of Sunset Revelry is the other new card from Midnight Hunt that's in the list. And then we're also running 3 copies of Borrowed Time, which is the new Banishing Light. And it's also been putting in some serious work. I was missing playing Banishing Light. Whenever I played white in Old Standard, I was often running Banishing Light, at least 2 or 3 copies alongside Elspeth Conquers Death and that sort of stuff. And it was really, really helping with the control side of white. So we're running 3 copies of Borrowed Time, which allows us to exile target non-land permanents until an opponent removes Borrowed Time, and it leaves the battlefield. And of course they get that back. But I find it to be better than Skyclave Apparition, in my opinion. I know everybody's going to argue with me in the comments about that, but it's much easier to get rid of a Skyclave Apparition that is a creature, first of all, and has only got 2 toughness, second of all, than it is to get rid of enchantments in the current standard meta game. So I think Borrowed Time, honestly, it's my preferred. Prove me wrong. I'm ready to defend my position. This is my preferred exile effect in white compared to a Skyclave Apparition. Also, I kind of feel dirty when I play Skyclave Apparition. I really, really don't like that card. So, playing Borrowed Time instead. And then we're running a couple of copies of Invoke the Divine because of a Seeker's Chariot. And this might actually need to go up to 3 copies because of all the class enchantments, because of a Seeker's Chariot, and there's a lot of really pesky artifacts and enchantments. The fact that Invoke the Divine only costs 1 extra mana compared to Disenchant for the same effect, but you also gain 4 life off of it, just makes it, in my opinion, the better removal spell for those types of permanents. So, running through the rest of the deck, some of the older cards that we already know and love, we're running Monk of the Open Hand, which goes with the Grandmaster of Flowers. I always find it weird when people play Monk of the Open Hand without Grandmaster of Flowers. They're supposed to go together, and so I'm running them together. So whenever you cast your second spell each turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on Monk of the Open Hand, and if you end up Doomscarring the battlefield, this is like, I'm always hunting for a mono white list where you can play Doomskar, because you're not going to run Doomskar in your white weenies deck. It's like you're trying to go wide and attack the opponent with lots and lots of little creatures, mono white aggro. If you then sweep your own field and you have no card draw, nowhere to rebuild the board, you're fucking yourself over basically. So it's tough to find the shell where you can play white and run Doomskar. In this case, the only real creatures that we have is Icingdeath and Monk of the Open Hand. So if you hit a sweeper, it's not going to hit your Grandmaster of Flowers, so he stays on the board, obviously. The opponent's board gets wiped. Icingdeath becomes Icingdeath the Frost Tongue, So you get some value. Even though it dies, you can then attach the equipment to one of your creatures the following turn, and you get a +2/+0, and then whenever the creature attacks, you can tap target creature defending player controls. But also, Monk of the Open Hand ends up in the graveyard, but the Grandmaster of Flowers' second +1 ability says you can search your library and or graveyard for a card named Monk of the Open Hand, reveal it, and put it into your hand. So you can, get it back again and play it again after the sweeper. So I like that very much. So that's why we're running Monk of the Open Hand. Curse of Silence, I touched upon as I was talking about the new cards, but I haven't explained what it does. So basically, curses enchant a player. It's an aura curse. So as it ETBs, you choose a card name. Spells with a chosen name, enchanted player costs 2 more to cast. Whenever enchanted player casts a spell with a chosen name, you may sacrifice Curse of the Silence, and if you do, you draw a card. So we've only got 2 ways to draw cards in the entire deck, unfortunately, except for also the singular copy of Introduction to Prophecy that we have in the lesson board. One of those, pseudo card draw is also Grandmaster of Flowers. If you use the second +1 and find a Monk of the Open Hand either from your graveyard or from your library and put it into your hand, that's effectively card draw. Then Sunset Revelry, if the opponent has more cards in hand than you get to draw a card. And then Curse of Silence, the opponent casts the thing that you named when you cast Curse of Silence, or when Curse of Silence enters the battlefield. And then, like I said, if he does end up casting it and pays the tax, you can sacrifice Curse of Silence and draw a card. So that's a little bit of card draw, a little bit more than mono white usually kind of has. It's always tough, but that's just the way it is with the color pie. So if you know the meta very well and you play a heck of a lot of Magic, you're never going to cast this on turn 1 unless you're on the draw, which means you've seen what maybe your opponent plays like a turn 1 Jaspera Sentinel or something, and you're seeing it's like green snowlands. You're probably thinking to yourself, okay, this is going to be mono green aggro. There's a high probability that the next card is either going to be Ranger Class or Werewolf Pack Leader, so you can name one of those two. Chances are you're going to get it right. Like I play enough Magic every single day that I know more or less when I see the opponent's first 1 or 2 turns go by what it is that he's trying to do, and I can name the correct card, and I will almost always get the correct hit off of it. And that's, you can stall the opponent's sweeper, you can stall the opponent's removal spell, make it cost 2 more to cast, and when they do cast it, you get to draw a card. So really loving Curse of Silence as a way to stall the opponent a little bit and then get a little bit of added value by drawing a card when they can finally cast the thing that you've named. Portable Hole. Talked about this in the couple of previous control decks that we played on the channel. So many good 2-drops, 1 and 2 drops in the format that I think 3 of in the deck is perfect. I wouldn't go with a 4 of, I wouldn't go with a 2 of. I think 3 is the sweet spot, and you can remove all the class enchantments, all of them. You can Paladin class, Ranger class, you name it. Werewolf Pack Leader, Luminarch Aspirant, you name it. There's so many good 1 and 2 drops that this hits that I think it's crucial to run in the deck, and it works in tandem with Borrowed Time. It's a very similar effect, although they need artifact removal to get rid of Portable Hole, because it's an artifact. They need enchantment removal of Borrowed Time, so kind of diversifying our removal that the opponent needs there by running both of those. But they essentially do the same thing. They exile something until either Portable Hole or Borrowed Time leave the battlefield. Fateful Absence we've already talked about. Then I'm running Study Break. I did want a learn card, and I didn't know which one to run in white. There's the one that puts a +1/+1 counter on a target creature. We're not really going for that. There's Sparring Regimen. We're not really trying to do that either. Also was clogging up my 3-drop slot. So I think Study Break, especially in this sort of control shell around Bahamut, is a great idea, because you get to tap 2 target creatures at instant speed. The opponent doesn't know it's in your hand. They're like, sweet, we're now going to finally attack Grandmaster Flowers bring it down, and you might have been like on 6 loyalty, so close to getting into being Bahamut. No, sorry, not gonna happen. I'm tapping 2 of your creatures on your attack step, and I get to learn. So when I untap, I've got a learn card. You could choose something like Academic Probation, and again stop another creature from attacking or blocking until Actually, I'm actually going to get rid of Expanded Anatomy and put in 2 Academic Probations. Like Academic Probation, stops an opponent from either casting something that you name, or a target non-land permanent from attacking or blocking, or its activated abilities from being activated. So between Academic Probation, the Grandmaster of Flowers, first +1. Target creature without first strike, double strike, or vigilance can't attack or block until your next turn. So it can't attack or block, tap up to target creatures, so effectively rendering them unable to attack or block. That's a lot of control on the board, on the opponent's creatures, that is going to help us get to 7 loyalty on the Grandmaster. So I really, really like this card. It's well costed, it's instant speed, you get the learn. It's not just 1 target creature that you tap, but 2. Loving this card in the deck. It's been really helping me out. Like the 2 drops in this deck are like the glue. They're the stalling stuff. Like before we can get the right amount of lands to either cast a Doomskar before we've even started playing any of our creatures, or just removing something that's gonna be a problem once it gets to like turn 3, turn 4, when we do want to start playing our Grandmaster, or gaining a little bit of life, putting down some blockers, drawing a card. These are like our intermediate between the early game and the late game, or mid to late game of the deck. They're like helping us get there. Then the 3 drops are kind of the same, but there's less of them, and they're really just there as like more of a if we don't draw land type of scenario, we need to survive a little bit longer, we can do so with our 3 drops. But then the real juice of the deck is the 4 drops. Okay, I'm running 3 of each. I really want to make sure that I get both of these cards in every single game, because they're really what we're trying to go for. We've already talked about the Grandmaster of Flowers a lot. We just need to get into 7, and there's many ways to do that. Most of the time we're targeting the opponent's creature that he has on the field, because it's hard to control 2 creatures if the opponent's double casting every turn. So maybe we can remove one of them with one of our removal pieces, and the other one we +1 with the Grandmaster of Flowers, and they just again cannot attack our Grandmaster of Flowers, cannot attack us, buys us more time to get him up to level 7 loyalty. And then Icingdeath, the Frost Tyrant, Vigilance, essential. The fact that it has Vigilance is just super duper good, because you can safely attack in with an evasive flyer and still keep it up as a blocker to again stop things attacking your Grandmaster of Flowers. And like I said, when it dies, if you do need a Doomskar because the opponent's going too wide, it doesn't matter, because you get some value out of it dying anyway. You get to create this legendary equipment, which is actually really good when you then maybe cast another Icingdeath the following turn and then equip Icingdeath with his own Frost Tongue. Things get crazy. But you can also put that on the Monk of the Open Hand, or if you've already got Bahamut, you can put it on Bahamut, and that's kind of the game-ending play right there, because it becomes like a 9/7 indestructible that taps down an opponent's creature whenever it attacks. And then 4 copies of Doomskar, because there's a lot of aggro decks in the meta. We're trying to cast this on like turn 3, turn 4. Don't just cast them willy-nilly when the opponent only has 2-3 cards on the battlefield. It might be better to like tap them with Study Break, or exile them with Borrowed Time or something, and wait for them to empty their whole hand out, even if you've taken a bit of damage. Especially when you're playing Selesnya, mono white, mono green. They have a little bit less card draw than some of the other archetypes and color combinations. Then you Doomskar when they're like only got 1 or 2 cards left in hand. It's going to be much harder for them to recreate a board presence, which is again helping you get to 7 loyalty with the Grandmaster of Flowers. Then I'm running 61 cards. The initial version of the deck had one less planes. We're running 23 total. I mean, Doomskar, you're casting for 3 most of the time. That's the whole plan, and the rest of the deck tops out at 4 mana. So 23 is fine, but why not? Let's just run 61. If we start flooding out too much, we can just drop a land. I also get to run my sweet ass Godzilla lands from Ikoria, which I love, and then 4 copies of Cave of the Frost Dragon in the deck as our creature land, which is really good because it's a flyer, and it is a bit more expensive to activate than some of the other creature lands like Faceless Haven. I could have gone for the snow package with Faceless Haven, but it's on theme. It's the Cave of the Frost Dragon. We're playing the Frost Dragon, so and I do like the fact that it has flying. The other creature lands from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms don't have much evasiveness. What would have been ridiculously busted is if the Lair of the Hydra, the mono green creature land, would have had trample. Kind of would have been on theme, but it doesn't, so you can just chump block it. The Den of the Bugbear only has 2 toughness, so very easy to block or remove. And the 7/7 Hall of the Storm Giants is very much more expensive to activate. I think it's 6 mana or 7 mana to activate, so you need like 8 mana on the battlefield just to turn it on. So I actually quite like Cave of the Frost Dragon. I wish it was 4 to activate and not 5. It's a little bit expensive, but still, it's a creature land and it fits the theme, and I like it. So we're running 4 copies of Cave of the Frost Dragon. Lesson board, which we are accessing via our study break, is 2 academic probations, like I've already said, 1 environmental sciences, a little bit of life gain, help us get to the 4th land if we are struggling to top deck lands. 1 copy of Reduced to Memory. I'm not sure about this. I really don't like this card, actually. Screw it. Not going to play that. That is... I don't like giving the opponent stuff if I can avoid it. We already have Fateful Absence, which is already pretty frustrating. So rather than do that, let us probably just play... And I don't think we'll ever get to Mascot Exhibition. Yeah, let's play 1 Expanded Anatomy. If we can put that on, for example, our Icingdeath, I'll be pretty happy. So that's the brew. I'm ready to jump into some games. Gonna go straight onto the rank ladder. Sorry, I'm a bit late tonight. I got stuck into a Premier draft and it took longer than I thought. I know there was only like 10 minutes before the stream, and I was still like, there's always one guy on the draft table that's like holding all the packs and slows the whole freaking thing down. So at this point in the stream, as usual, quickly, while the game loads up, I'd just like to ask everybody who's watching this to kindly consider subscribing to the channel if they have not done so already. I'm very close to that 200 subscriber mark, at which point a giveaway will be triggered. I'm giving away some lovely sleeves and cosmetics, and a full play set of the Bob Ross lands is the first prize. To enter, the full information of how to take part in the giveaway is in the video description down below. Just scroll past all of the deck information and either hub links, and right at the bottom you will find the video. There's a little heading that says clerics. Okay, there's a heading that says, should we banishing like this guy? Yeah, sure. There's a heading that says giveaway video information. Just click on that, watch it. It's a quick little 5-minute video. It will let you know exactly what it is that you need to do to enter the giveaway. Alright, and then of course don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Alright. Onwards and upwards. That's a problem. Felidar Retreat. interesting. People play some cool, interesting new stuff, man. I like it. I wonder what he's playing. That's really, really interesting to me. I cannot guess. Ooh. I really cannot fathom what he's trying to do with Felidar Retreat in this type of setup. Orzhov Landfall? Man. Okay, well, I mean... I doubt he's running Doomskar. Let's save it. Billy, welcome to the stream, brother. What? Okay. Wow, that's weird, man. Still no lands, huh? Okay, we need to go in environmental sciences. There's my Doomskar, baby. Come on, play out your whole hand like a good boy. Unfortunately, that's quite a bit of life gain for the adversary. Yes, oh no. Well, I mean, freaking out. He didn't have them in the sideboard. Oops. That's gadoosh. Intrepid adversary. That's absolutely freaking ridiculously good. Okay, it's time to use the removal, unfortunately. It's going to be a little tough this game. The guy's just got never-ending value coming my way with this Felidar Retreat. I need a top deck into a oh, crikey. I don't see us winning this one, lads. It's not looking good. It's not looking good at all, unfortunately. Oh, for fuck's sakes. Answer to everything, huh? And that's game. Fuck's sake. When the deck just doesn't cooperate, I get a little bit annoyed. You guys know me. Those who've been watching for a while. That kind of top decks. Ay. Over the last couple of days, it's been quite intense. Just like lands. Let's remove that additional land. Let's go down to 60 and keep the algorithm gods happy. Garage. Mr. Garash with the Ugin dude. Black. Okay. Rakdos.
Fear not, friend. I will guide your hand against.
I have the sneaking suspicion that they're playing Exodus in this deck as well. Wow, this version of the Haunted Ridge looks really nice. Interesting. No, that's not enough lands, buddy. How many people make that mistake is quite hilarious.
Consider the evil within yourself.
I wish Academic Probation was instant speed. There's no instant lessons, which is quite interesting. Dispute. What's he fetching? Probably something to exile my Planeswalker. Necrotic Fumes. Or Introduction to Annihilation. No, he's going for the lands. We need to exile the Predator. Sure. That's even better. He's got no way of... He's got no way of giving it indestructible. Should we just go for it? Yeah.
Come be a hero.
Introduction to Annihilation. Make him think we're really like worried about the Grandmaster dying. He doesn't know we've got another. It's probably just going to activate the Hive, which is very frustrating. Okay, another Predator. That's cool. Sure.
Stay your hand. Let's talk.
unfortunately this can exile it even when he gets to level 7, you know. So he's probably just going to go for it now, and that's okay. A pity. I'm sure he's only got one of these in his lesson board though, so it should be alright. Okay. Make sure he cannot activate the hive, I don't think. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, he can. We can tap it. Probably gonna steal my monk. Cheeky bugger.
I shall not let you harm others.
Select the Annihilation again. Buy one more turn. Swing in for 10. That's not a bad turn. He's probably going to finally use it now, which is unfortunate. We got there. Really?
Peace, my enemy.
Is that just game, or he's got removal for the cave? Surely. That's what I thought. Down to 1. Almost got him. Fingers crossed. Oh, here comes the introduction to Annihilation. We get to draw a card. Portable Hole. Not exactly what I was looking for there, but hey. Unfortunately, there's probably Goldspan Dragons in this deck, so I'm going to keep an eye out for that. What's he going to take? My cave, okay. Okay. He's probably digging for removal for my cave. If he doesn't get it, he's going to scoop now. Come on. Oh, that's just great. We got him. Eat it, Mr. Rakdos, in your face. Oh, that was beautiful. That was lovely. That felt really fan-bloody-tastic. Still don't recognize myself on the camera. I look so different without the beard. I did that thing. Thanks, Billy. I did that thing where I was with my son. He's only 2 years old, and I looked at him. I was playing with him. He's always only seen me with a beard his entire life. It's the first time I've been completely clean shaven since he was born. And then I went into the barber. My wife went away. The guy shaved me completely, and then they came back to pick me up at the barber, and I popped out of the barber shop with no beard, and I was like, hey, and then I said hi to my son. He just looked at me like, who the hell is this guy? Oh, it was too funny. Black again, same exact opener as last turn. Rakdos again. Shuffler's just weird these days. Rakdos aggro. Could be. Could very well be. Another storm taker. Whoop-de-doo. I'll wait to cast the Revelry until I'm a little bit lower health than him. Then I get all three things off of it. Boom, boom. And draw a card because we need land. Still no land. I wonder if I got the right call here for the Immerstrom. It makes it cost 6 mana to cast. Goldspan. Now we're Doomskaring. Land. Okay, so rather let's save this Doomskar. Who knows? You might deadly dispute the dragon away. No? Okay. Fantastic. Joss. Dark beer is gorgeous. Why didn't he scry? Or did I miss something? Back up to 19. Goldspan. Might have another Kalane for us to get rid of with the portable hole, but actually I'm just going to get rid of his token. He's really struggling with mana. Let's keep it that way. like a different mono white, you know. Everybody's playing mono white aggro with Intrepid Adversary and the usual stuff. This is mono white, but it's different. No one plays this on the ladder, and it's actually like there's other ways of playing mono white, a little bit more mid-rangey. I wonder what he's gonna say. I don't have a Hive of the Eye Tyrant. What would you name that? Okay. Interesting. Sorry. I think he was supposed to name the cave. That's terrible. So sorry, buddy. Sure. I'm not seeing the scrying. Did he scry there? Is there a bug? I've seen other people talk about this. Graveyard Trespasser. Ward discard. We don't have anything to discard, so we're taking 4 here. This is not good at all. Actually, with the 2 exiled cards. Gosh darn it. Where's our Grandmaster of Flowers? He still gets to do it, even though it's dead. Okay, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have removed it. That is really enough land right now, guys. Come on. Not again with this problem. Wow, Rakdos, werewolves, huh? Werewolves and dragons. Bugger off. Where are our cards? For fuck's sakes. This is driving me insane, guys. You. No, not a good game. Horrible game. Unbelievable. Just never top deck anything that we need. Like the last couple days, it just keeps getting worse and worse. Like, wow. need to make an offering, sacrifice something to the shuffler gods. Might turn the luck back in my favor one of these days. You know, when you just go through these patches of horrible, horrible luck. Frosty Flowers. Okay, okay. Maybe. I really love these sleeves. They look so sweet. I've also got them. Just I feel weird running them in a non-werewolf deck. Prismari. Jeskai. Okay, we've got the mana for the Grandmaster. Yeah, definitely Jeskai. Oof, okay, this is definitely going to be the type of deck that is running Mr. Teferi. We do have a way of getting rid of that, but I have a very, very strong feeling that there's a Teferi coming our way. The new one, of course. He who slows the sunset, something. Iteration. Okay. Did he find the land he wants? Yes, he did. No, he didn't. You can't cast that. Sorry, buddy. Unless you got a land in hand. Which could very well have. Night and Day, Jeskai, I've tried this. It's probably running the new... okay, it does have the land.
Come fish with me. I could use the conversation. I am proud of all my followers.
It's 2 control decks. Kind of going at it. It's a lot of mana. He's got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana available. That's already a freaking... Okay, there's the fairy. It's fine.
This is a serious situation.
That could already be a Magma Opus and whatnot.
Second here, second there. Who's counting?
Sure. It's a bit of wasted removal, to be perfectly honest, my dear fellow. Because I'm just going to grab that straight away from the graveyard. Do you have like a negate? Saw it coming even? No? Cathartic Pyre. Do the Planeswalker.
That's good
Ow.
fall. Come, walk with me.
If we top deck a land, next turn we go Icingdeath, Fateful Absence on the Teferi. We do not want this reaching the emblem at all. That'll be an absolute disaster for us. He could 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. He can yeah, exactly that.
I will
What a
remember
pity.
the fallen.
What a pity. That's a disaster.
Give me a moment.
Sure, man. Yeah, absolutely. That happens to everybody, right? Like, of course. Okay, so just do something easy that we know he's got. Get the full combo wombo, except for the tokens. Full Monty. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lands, 7 mana available. Probably should have named Teferi instead of the Celestis. That was a misplay. Amuntke, Amunchi. Interesting nickname. Opponent is roping. Did he disconnect? Internet problems? Or is he just not top decking what he wants? It's possible. We're approaching the hour mark. I did want to play at least one more game, but yeah, I mean, if this ends in a concede, or the opponent just ropes until he loses, then we'll definitely play at least another one or two. Even if we go a little over the hour, I'm okay with that. This art is freaking amazing. The art in AFR was so good. Just all over this stuff. Pew. Yeah, it looks like the opponent is away from the keyboard. Something happened. I really like what Mono Black Magic, is that how it's called? Yeah, I think it's Mono Black Magic. The Swedish guy lives in Japan. He's like the master of jank builds. I love his content. He's such a funny guy, and his combo decks are just real masterpieces. Yeah, free win. I like it. Thanks for the free win. But whenever an opponent is roping him, he just like whips out a book of Japanese haikus and puts on his little glasses and starts reading haikus. I need to find something to do when the opponent's roping like that. That's equally funny. Danilo Macedo. That's a great hand. I'm all over that. Okay, mono green. There we go. Fourth land for the Grandmaster. This I haven't played mono green yet with this deck, and I was just surprising. We're like 15 games deep. Probably should have kept that for the class. You live and learn. Okay. Fine. Another land. Oh, the chariot. What a stinky chariot. Chill, Wingspan. With Doomskar, he can't crew the chariot. That's not bad. Hopefully there's no Ren and 7. We do have a way to get rid of that. Bye-bye, cats. Another land off the top. That's enough now. Can feel the ruin our cave, which is horrible. Yeah, he's gonna go for that. No, not yet at least. Okay, that is really enough land, man. Come on. Cut it off.
It's a shame we must fight on such a lovely day. My acolytes are paragons of justice.
Things are going kind of exactly as planned. Old growth troll. The borrowed time would be ideal at this point in time. It's never, you know, it's either one or the other.
We need not fight here.
Okay. Blowing his mana on a level up. We are gonna get rid of this guy, hopefully. There's no snakeskin veil. No veil. Unfortunately, we give him some card draw, but that's just the way it is. Oh, come on now, man. Come on now. Don't give me that.
Try to
bollocks, mate.
in your heart.
That is ridiculous. How many lands in a row is that? That's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. At least we can go and search up a Mascot Exhibition, which doesn't happen much in the day. We got there in the end.
Take a moment to consider your actions.
Ooh, baby. Does that feel sweet or what? It's game next turn if he doesn't have a proper answer to this. Another troll, which leaves him unable to activate the Haven. Seven, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's game.
Consider the evil within yourself.
Oh, it's not. He has to block though. Oof, man, I did my math wrong. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're one short. Okay. Got another study break though, which is just fantastic. This card is just putting in the work, man. That's game. We got him. Mono green, bam, 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 in the face, baby. Gotcha. All right, I think that is a perfect place to end the stream. I really think we showcased the deck to its full. Controlling, making sure that his creatures cannot attack us, and to the point at which we get a 7/7 flyer with indestructible, and then we just beat his ass into the ground. And we got it a total of, I believe, 3 times on stream today, so I'm very, very happy about that. And we're going to leave it at that for tonight. So let's just jump back into the deck and see what we could adjust. What sort of problems do we have, other than the usual either flooding or bricking with lands, which is starting to become like a signature BrewLab problem. I don't know. What would you guys change? I really, really like it. I think it's freaking amazing. Maybe something other than Sunset Revelry for card draw in the 2-drop slot, like maybe there's this new artifact, ETBs, draw a card, then you can sack it for 2 and gain 3 life. But this just has so much more value. I don't think there's anything I would change. I really, really like things exactly just the way they are. But I would love your opinions. You know, leave me some comments down below. Maybe something different in the lesson board. But in my opinion, this deck is pretty damn good, and we beat on some of the top decks in the meta. We beat the Rakdos guy, we beat the mono green guy. I'm stoked. So yeah, no adjustments need to be made. I'm going to upload it as is. You will find the link to this deck in the video description down below. You will find the copy pastable version in the video description down below. Don't forget about the giveaway link. Also, my Twitch details are in the video description down below. I will see you all tomorrow with some fresh brews. Probably going to start looking at some more aggro builds because I'm really struggling with control. I feel like the meta still needs control still needs to be figured out. Like I said in the beginning of the video, oh my goodness, just struggling with control. I created and scrapped upwards of 15 decks today, just like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, and then I'm like gonna kind of put the last few cards in, and I'm like, nah, this is bullshit. Delete, start again. Okay, different. Delete, and I just cannot wrap my head around it right now. I mean, there's obvious choices, but it's not running any new cards, and I want to showcase some of the new cards. You know, Midnight Hunts just got released, so we're gonna probably steer away from control and try and look at some aggro decks that are, you know, not mono white and not mono green, mono red maybe. Try and build a nice mono red deck. Maybe Selesnya Humans. This one is looking really sweet with Cathilda. Also vampires I haven't done yet, so just keep your eyes on the channel if you're interested in that sort of stuff. But I will see you all tomorrow, and until then, this is Lone Fox from the BrewLab, signing out. Peace, y'all.